What if I told you that 90% of Filipino entrepreneurs and business owners are avoiding fundraising because of a big lie that's been circulating in our industry for years? Etong lie na to is so widespread that it's killing businesses before they even get started. Today, I'm going to expose this myth and show you why most Filipino startups are walking away from millions in potential funding for their business for absolutely no reason at all. Hey entrepreneurs, my name is Lou Beltran, and over the past 20 years, I've launched multiple startups and businesses, analyzed hundreds of venture deals as a venture capital analyst, and watched countless Filipino founders make the same devastating mistake. They're afraid of talking to investors and raising funding even though they have this brilliant idea. All because of one massive misconception about the SEC regulations. Now look, I've been in the trenches. I've raised capital from my business. I've raised capital from investors for multiple times already. And I've helped also other founders on how to do fundraising the correct way. And I've seen firsthand itong single myth na to or lie that is stopping hundreds of startups and entrepreneurs from achieving their dreams. Pero here's the thing. What you've been told about fundraising here in the Philippines, most of it is wrong. So today, in this video, we're going to tear down itong misconception na to or lie that's been built around SEC compliance, specifically yung tinatawag nilang secondary license. Because if you're a startup founder or an SME owner or someone thinking about launching a business, what you learn in the next 30 minutes could literally save your company. Now, let me ask you something. How many of you have heard na bawal ang mag-fundraising for their business? Or you need something called a secondary license so that you can look for investors. Probably narinig mo to from a friend or an accountant or lawyer, or narinig mo to in social media forums. Sounds familiar? Yeah, I thought so. Because this is happening to Filipino entrepreneurs every single day. And it's not just costing you money in your business, it's costing you your dreams. I'm talking to the founder who's been bootstrapping yung business niya for 3 years when they could have scaled it in 6 months because of additional funding. I'm talking to the SME owner like you who's been watching their bigger competitors dominate yung market nila because they don't have enough funding to expand. I'm talking to the entrepreneur inside you who's ever said, I'd love to raise money. Pero kailangan ko daw ng secondary license muna or bawal mag-fundraise. Now, alright, let's start tackling itong issue na to. I'm going to break down exactly what's happening here, why this lie exists, and more importantly, what the real SEC regulations are actually saying. Because here's what's really going on. Itong myth na to circulating in our industry na kailangan mo daw ng secondary license for you to be able to fundraise is wrong. Okay? And yung SEC daw is out to get startups, and one wrong move at pag nahuli ka ng SEC and it will land you in jail. So, the reality for this one, the SEC has been actively working to make fundraising easier here in the Philippines, not harder. In fact, as of 2025, ang dami nilang in-implement na digital registration processes that are faster, simpler, and cheaper than ever before. So, what we're going to cover in this video are 3 key areas today. So, unang-una, first is what the SEC laws actually requires for startup fundraising. Second, ano yung recent regulatory changes that make compliance simpler? And third, yung real costs involved, okay, for you to be able to start fundraising. Now, let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're a chef with an amazing recipe for an adobo, for example. Everyone who tastes it says na that's the best that they ever had. Ang sarap-sarap ng adobo. You could open a restaurant chain with this recipe and maybe even franchise it internationally. Pero, instead of you getting investors to help you build yung dream mo and expand, you're stuck selling plates from your kitchen because someone told you na bawal ang mag-fundraise and you need a nuclear physics degree to cook your adobo. Okay? So that's essentially that's just an analogy on my side. Pero that's what's exactly been happening to Filipino startups right now. You have the recipe for success, but you're scared to scale because of misinformation about regulations. Now, here's the truth. Just like how opening a restaurant requires permits sa city government, pero it doesn't require you to have a PhD degree in nuclear physics. Same din with fundraising. Raising capital requires SEC compliance. Pero it doesn't require expensive secondary licenses for most early stage deals. And these early stage deals are probably what you're at right now 90% of the time. And if you're watching this video, then you're really interested in raising funding and you're in your early stage of the business. The key here is understanding which rules apply to your specific situation. Now, let me give you some real-life examples. I worked with a startup last year. Yung founder niya was about to turn down a 10 million peso investment because yung lawyer niya told him that the SEC compliance would cost 2 million pesos and it will take 18 months because they need to get a secondary license to be able to fundraise. Now, tinulungan ko siya. We dug into the actual regulations and it turns out for their specific stage sa business nila and this fundraising round, they are qualified for exemptions that made the process cost less than 50,000 pesos and it will only take them 6 weeks to do yung fundraising nila. 6 weeks. So, long story short, they closed their funding round and they launched yung product and business nila and they are now earning millions monthly. So, kung i-compare mo to with your or their competitor na naniwala doon sa myth na kailangan niya ng secondary license to be able to fundraise and ang ginawa na lang niya, nag-bootstrap siya. Guess who owns the majority of the market segment right now? Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The SEC isn't your enemy, actually. They're actually trying to help you. In 2025, they've rolled out what they call eFast, digital registration streamlined processes. So, ang daling mag-create ng startup ngayon and most especially yung mga businesses, okay? So they have clearer guidelines, faster registration, online pa nga yung pagbayad, and really, they've streamlined everything. So, if you think about from the perspective of the SEC, ang trabaho ng SEC isn't to kill businesses. It's to protect investors and ensuring fair play sa industry natin. Kasi a thriving startup and business ecosystem means more tax for the country, more jobs to be generated, and more innovation to be made. They want you to succeed actually in your venture. Pero, they want you to also do it legally and in the correct way. Okay. Ang totoong mali dito is yung mga nagsaspread ng misinformation or outdated information. Some of them are probably lawyers who make more money when compliance seems complicated, or some of them are your competitors who wants to keep you out of the market itself. And for majority of people, and I've heard this 100 times, 1,000 times, most of them are repeating basically wrong information without checking yung actual facts about the law in terms of fundraising. But here's what they don't want you to know. The Philippines is actually becoming one of the most startup-friendly countries in Southeast Asia. So the SEC has been overhauling and studying successful startup systems like in Singapore or in Israel, and they're implementing yung mga similar rules and regulations that they have right there, and they're making it work here in the Philippines. So here's the aha moment
that changes everything. So ito na yung climax ng video natin. The biggest barrier to Filipino startup success isn't lack of talent. So here's the aha moment in our video. Ito na yung climax. The biggest barrier to Filipino startup success isn't yung lack of talent, isn't yung lack of ideas, it isn't even lack of available capital. Ang pinaka-biggest barrier is misinformation because of non-existent regulations and lack of information of the law. Pero, you know what? Instead of me blabbering about here, trying to tell you na you can fundraise, let me just give you a proof of what I'm talking about. So, let me just do a screen share here of my website or my computer. And I'm going to open itong website na to. elibraryjudiciary.gov.ph, and this is the Supreme Court e-library. So this is legit check kung gusto niyo talagang makita. Okay? It's called the Republic Act number 8799. Ito yung proof that you can really fundraise. Pero bigyan ko na kayo ng heads up Okay, the number one criteria before we proceed with this is yung business mo needs to be a corporation in order for you to do this. To be able to raise funding this way. Yung ituturo ko sa inyo ngayon. If you're a sole proprietor or a partnership, you cannot do this. Kaya majority of my clients and that I consult with, I always tell them you need to incorporate first before you're able to fundraise additional capital for their businesses. So, yun lang. Okay, number one requirement. You need to be a corporation to be able to do this in the Philippines. So, let's go ahead. So, this is called the Republic Act number 8799, the Securities Regulation Code. So, this is the one that's governing securities here in the Philippines, and you can read this whole website. Mas maganda ngang basahin nyo to para maintindihan nyo siya. And if you don't understand this, you can actually get help from a lawyer and help you interpret this one. But I'm going to shorten that process for you, and I'm going to scroll down to section 10 kasi nandun yung kailangan nating malaman. So, andito siya. Exempt transactions. Okay, so ito yung proof that you can fundraise and hindi mo kailangan ng secondary license. Okay? Kasi may exemptions actually in the law that will allow you to fundraise even without the secondary license. So, ang sinasabi dito sa section 10.1, the requirement of registration under subsection 8.1 shall not apply to the sale of any securities in any of the following transactions. So, ano ibig sabihin ng subsection 8 is, ito yung penalties. Okay? Pero, may exemption. So, let's go to 10.1, and I want you to scroll down to section K here. The sale of securities by an issuer to fewer than 20 persons in the Philippines during any 12-month period. Parang ang gulo, no? But actually, may mas malinaw dito na interpretation if we go to this website, Philippine Stock Exchange, yung amending implementing rules and regulations, and if you check this document, you just go down to this section, SRC Rule 10.1, exempt transactions. So, mas malinaw kasi yung interpretation dito, yung pagkasabi, okay, about fundraising. So, syempre, you have to disclose to investors that you're fundraising. Okay? Okay. So, the following statement, ito yung nakikita nyo in your SEC compliance, yung color green na papel when you register your business with the SEC. Okay? And I want you to read itong section 2. Okay? Exempt transactions not requiring notice. Anong ibig sabihin nito? You don't need the permission of the SEC to do this. And this is one of the reasons why you can fundraise without the secondary license. So, no notice of exemption or fee shall be required for any transaction covered by section 10.1 of the code except those covered by subparagraphs K and I, or sale of not more than 19 persons, and 2 qualified buyers respectively. So I'm not a lawyer, ha. I'm just teaching you what I've learned through my lawyers, explaining this one. And I learned this the hard way. Actually, hindi ko nga sa Pilipinas natutunan eh. Natutunan ko to sa Singapore when I attended yung courses na to. Okay, and this courses was in the millions of pesos. So, ayan. So, ano ibig sabihin lang nito? You can fundraise for your company or for your corporation by selling shares of your corporation in exchange of capital. Pero, may limit. You can only do this to 19 persons only in a span of 1 year. Okay? So, you can fundraise up to 19 individuals or entities. And you can only do it in a span of 1 year. Per 1 year yon. So, pwede kang mag-fundraise from 19 persons or angels or institutions this year. Then next year, pwede ka ulit mag-fundraise, increase ka ulit ng capitalization. Okay? Print more shares for your company. This is what the big players are actually doing. Okay? Sila Ayala and the big conglomerates here in the Philippines. Ito yung ginagawa nila. Okay? Basta hindi pa sila listed Pag listed, syempre, mas madali yung process dahil nandun na sila sa stock exchange eh. Anyone can buy their shares. Pero this one is for private companies, yung hindi pa nakalista. Okay. So, yun nga, 19 individuals on a per 1 year span. Okay. Now, if you try to fundraise in that span of 1 year to 19 individuals, you still need to notify yung SEC, pero after the fact na. You need to file a form called Form 10.1. Okay? So, you need to file that within 10 days of fundraising. Once nag-close yung fundraising round mo. Okay? So, ano pa yung mga kailangan yung malaman dito? Okay? So, a prima facie presumption of circumvention of Sections 8 and 12 of the Code shall arise when the number of non-qualified investors shall exceed 19 within a 1-year span. So, ayan. So, magkakaroon ka lang ng issues with the SEC in terms of fundraising if you do it to more than 19 individuals or institutions. Okay, so magkakaroon ka na ng penalty. So, liable ka na with penalty. So, ayan nga. Just try to fundraise well below 19. Okay? So, yan. So, you can raise from... Sino ba yung mga or non-qualified investors na to? Pwede kang mag-fundraise from angels or from your family and friends. Basta meron kayong legal na kontrata. Okay? You can do this. So, ano pa? Ang number 1 rule, ang second rule for you to be able to fundraise using this way, itong tinuturo ko sa inyo is ito, Section A. Okay. May subject to the following terms and conditions. So, the first condition and the most important condition that you need to know is the issuer claiming such relief shall not engage in any form of general solicitation or advertising in connection therewith. Anong ibig sabihin nito? If you're trying to fundraise, you cannot do it in a public setting. It needs to be on a one-to-one setting. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? You cannot do fundraising. You cannot do this type of fundraising by posting anything on social media. Bawal yun. You will get penalized by the SEC. May rules na tayo sinusundan, di ba? So, bawal yun. Posting, setting up mass webinars for you to be able to get interest from investors or the public, bawal na bawal yun. You need to do this on a one-to-one setting para safe ka. Okay. Now, meron ding technique dito which is this part, Section C. Sale may be made to no more than 19 non-qualified buyers. Okay. Paano sir pag gusto ko ng paano pag may ang daming investors na gustong pumasok sa business ko? So, and you did this the correct way, you talked to them on a one-to-one setting, and more than 19 yung gustong pumasok. So, there's actually a workaround for this one, na a corporation, partnership, or entity shall be counted as one buyer, provided, however, that if the entity is organized for the specific purpose of acquiring the securities offered and is not a qualified buyer under Section 10.1 L of the Code, then each beneficial owner of equity securities in this entity shall count as a separate buyer under this rule. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? If you have more than 20 investors, syempre you will have you only have the limit of 19. So what you can do here actually is you can ask all of the investors to form a holdings company, and they put all of their investments there, and itong holdings company na to ang mag-i-invest doon sa korporasyon mo. This is something that is being done actually by big startups. So what international startups are doing is they're asking investments from something called VCs, institutional entities, and private equity. So itong mga entities na to, VCs, PEs, and institutional investors, what they actually do is they gather funds from wealthy individuals and they put it in a holdings company. Tapos itong holdings company ang mag-i-invest papunta sa company mo. Okay? So, instead na 19 silang nag-i-invest sa'yo, if they put their money in the holdings company, then isa na lang ang kailangan mag-invest sa kampanya mo, sa corporation mo. So, you're not hitting the limit. That's why startups, when they're trying to pitch their ideas sa mga pitching events, they're actually pitching only, you might say na, uy, parang public setting yun. It's not. It's actually, they're trying to pitch actually to VCs, angels, and institutional investors. And they only count as one investor. Kaya kung titignan nyo yung mga news about startups, puro companies yung nag-i-invest on the startup itself. So that limits yung risk nila. Okay? Sa Singapore, tinatawag tong Special Purpose Vehicle ang tawag, or SPV. And you will, I'll probably tackle this in another video kasi mapapahaba yung video natin if I tackle it here. Pero yun nga, may workaround. If you have more than 19 investors, you can actually have them form a corporation or a holdings company, and yung holdings company na yon ang mag-i-invest sa corporation mo. Okay. So, another workaround for this one. So, yeah. And let's move to the next one. The issuer provides any person to whom they offer the sale or sell securities pursuant hereto with the following information. So securities means shares, ha? So again, ulitin ko ulit. Fundraising is about this type of fundraising, yung tinuturo ko sa inyo, is you're going to sell shares of your corporation in exchange for capital into your business. So, yeah. So, yung shares na yan is called security. Okay? So, before you will be able to fundraise, syempre, kailangan malaman ng investors ninyo, sino ba exactly kayo? Kung nagpa-fundraise, yan, saan ang address ng principal office ninyo, place of incorporation, the legality part of your business. And you need to be transparent to your investors on this part as well. Okay? Kasi, alam nyo naman, maraming scammer ngayon, budol-budol. Mas magiging credible ka to your investors if you're able to show that you are legally operating and you're legally following the permits and licenses that you need to register here in the Philippines. So, yun lang yun. Okay? And if you have finished your fundraising, balikan natin yung sinasabi dito. You need to notify the SEC within 10 days of the sale of the securities para maging legal yung buong fundraising round mo, and you can now close your fundraising. So, if you have done this correctly, step by step, itong tinuro ko sa inyo, you have done fundraising the correct way here in the Philippines without needing yung expensive secondary license na sinasabi dyan ng mga lawyers, accountants, and yung mga nasa forums na nakikita ninyo na bawal mag-fundraise.
What's your next move? So first, stop taking legal advice from random people. Yun lang ang masasabi ko sa inyo. If you really want to raise money for your business, talk to lawyers and specialists like me, okay, who specialize in startup law. Not lawyers who have, kasi not all lawyers actually are equipped to handle these types of fundraising. Kasi yung iba, hindi nila talaga forte ang fundraising and capital. Okay? Second is you need to understand that there are different rules in terms of fundraising. Raising money from qualified buyers, kailangan mo na there's different rules for that one. Raising under 10 million pesos, there's different rules for that one as well. And if you're raising more than 100 million, yun, iba naman ang rules na kailangan mong tignan. So the key here is knowing which category you fall to. Kung ang business mo is just starting up or in its early stages, then ang dami mong exemptions na pwedeng i-take advantage of for you to be able to fundraise your business. So, the third one is you need to use yung resources available to you. Sa yung SEC website, ang dami niyong pwedeng matutunan doon. Ang daming updated guidelines and laws that they have enacted for you to be able to easily fundraise and incorporate yung company ninyo. Another one is ang dami nating startup accelerators and incubators out there that provide legal support kasama na doon sa incubation period. Okay. And there are law firms that specialize in making compliance and fundraising affordable for early stage companies. Okay. Probably I'll refer you to them in one of these days. But most importantly, ang pinaka-importanting takeaway for this video is you need to change your mindset. So stop seeing yung mga regulations as barriers and start seeing them as guide rails. Okay? You have to follow them. You have to learn about them and you have to follow them. They're not there to actually stop you from fundraising. They're actually there to protect you and your investors. Para hindi mo sila maloko rin. And your investors would have more confidence in you if you follow the rules correctly. So, that would actually give you credibility, okay, in the market. Alam nilang mapagkakatiwalaan ka when they are going to give you their money already. So look, I've spent 20 years in the industry and I've seen many brilliant Filipino entrepreneurs give up because of this lie. Yung kailangan na secondary license and you cannot fundraise. So as you have seen in the video, okay, pwede tayo mag-fundraise. Okay, you just have to know the rules. Yung 19 investor limit per year and also no solicitation in terms of public. Yung mga pinakita ko sa inyo kanina. So don't be one of them. Yung mga naniniwala na you cannot fundraise and kailangan mo ng secondary license. The Philippine ecosystem right now is on the verge of exploding. We have the talent. Mas lalo na ngayon in the age of AI. We have the market and we have the technology. And now we have simpler regulations coming from the SEC in terms of doing yung fundraising. So the only thing missing is founders who are willing to push past yung fear and build something amazing in our ecosystem here in the Philippines. So if this video opened your eyes to the reality of fundraising and how to do it correctly, smash that like button below and subscribe pa kayo sa mga content kong ganito which cuts through the BS and gives you yung totoong information that will help you succeed in your business. So again, I'm not a coach ha. I don't give those mushy type of information. What you will hear from me are actual facts. And these facts and this information, I have actually implemented it in my businesses. So, if you have a question for me, drop a comment below and tell me what has been holding you back from fundraising, yung mga regulations ba to, or lack of information, or something else. Okay, I read all the comments there and I'll personally respond to most of them. Okay. And let's try to figure out ano yung mga next steps. Nasaan na ba kayo in terms of your fundraising journey? And if you're ready to take action, I'll put in yung link na pinakita ko sa inyo kanina about the law, probably sa baba ng description ng video na to. And I can also help you refer to some legal firms that won't overcharge you in terms of setting up your startup, or if you're trying to do the fundraising, kasi may mga legalities tayong kailangan sundan. Okay. So remember, the biggest risk isn't getting yung SEC compliance wrong. Okay. It's never trying at all. Okay. So your competitors right now isn't waiting for perfect regulations. Okay. They're actually out there already trying to raise money. Kasi napanood na rin nila itong video na to eh, okay? And they're also trying to scale up yung market nila and taking a big chunk out of your market share. So, unahan lang to, okay? The question isn't whether you can afford to raise money legally. Ang totoong question dito is whether you can afford not to raise funding for your business. So, that's it for this video. Until next time, keep building yung business ninyo, keep growing, and keep pushing forward. Okay, so this is Lou Beltran, and I'll see you on the next video.